Okay, we are live. Yep. Yeah. Thank you all for attending. And continue with the teaching. Should be interesting. We have a lot here in America, but on the entire planet, we have a great deal of process going on because of the ongoing healing crisis that's taking place on the earth. Most people aren't aware of the process, that there could be such a thing as a healing crisis, with Christ coming and incarnating and living on earth day to day, turning of the wheel of Dharma is making an effect on this planet. And what it does is that it basically pushes us face to face with our soul. And the planet is our soul. It's the aspect of our soul. Just like your physical body could be an aspect, could be integrated as part of your soul. And if we don't treat it in the soulful way that it's meant to be, which means we're to be wise, and we're to understand our body, and we're to understand what we need to do to keep it healthy, and what it is that causes it harm, and what our resources are. Is the air we're breathing, are we breathing healthy air? And if we're not, what do we do to change that? If the water we're drinking, are we drinking healthy water? If we're not, what do we do to change that? These are simple things. These are things that we need to do to stay alive, rather than the big things, how to become wealthy and famous and all those things, what is my purpose in life and all that kind of stuff. But if we just take it down to a simple reality, then we have needs, and our need is pretty much to maintain our survival, and give ourselves a proper life, and we have no understanding of reincarnation, that this life isn't our only life, that we're not just here on a short stay, and whatever we pull off will have no effect on humanity, no effect on the world. That's not true. We have a major effect on the world, a very, very, very big effect. And the thing is that it's a matter of integrating the soul with the personality. If we look at that in ourselves as people, we look at that in ourselves, that is our situation. We whether we choose to be spiritual or not, we have to get wiser. And as we get wiser, we become aware of our stupidity, our faults. And those faults lead us into danger, lead us into harm, lead us into a short life. We don't take things very wisely. And wisdom helps to instill a bigger and bigger factor about the fact that you're not just here for yourself, but you could be helping other people. And so those processes, vanquishing your insecurity, vanquishing your desire over another person's needs, which leads to a lot of vices, leads to a lot of lack of ability to become wise. So our real truth as a human being, our truth is that we're to develop our wisdom. And as we develop our wisdom, we become, we go, okay, wow, I shouldn't be smoking cigarettes, and that it is an aspect of wisdom. And so as we develop that wisdom, and we develop more and more of what it is that's causing us harm, and it's a joke. Back in the 50s, we got doctors on the TV, telling us with a cigarette in their hand, how smooth it is to smoke a Lucky Strike, or a filtered cigarette is so much better for you, than these other cigarettes. But they're good for you because they help you calm down, and they help you get through the day. They do good things for you. No harm whatsoever. These are doctors that are telling us this in the 50s and the 60s and even through the 70s, and then there isn't a TV show, a movie that doesn't show people smoking today. People smoking today. An ashtray actually in a house with cigarettes in it. Actually seeing that. We're seeing it. And we're not going, oh, wow, this is like, a rare scene, that you might find. It is rare in reality. We don't find it in reality. We don't walk around into another person's house and see cigarette butts sitting there. We don't know anybody who smokes. It's just not really that common. But on movies it is. And in TV programs it could be found. So we are being moved by a slow process of wisdom, maintaining ignorance and maintaining a value system that doesn't really see the truth for what it really is. And we need wisdom in order to change this, because we actually govern what it is we see. The government that's involved with this, or what we call politics, or what we call entertainment, what we call the people who make music, people who do poetry, people who write books, people who create education and create sciences and all that. All those things are service-oriented, basically designed to be service-oriented, based on wisdom, and how it is we help each other, and we also evolve. But that's us as a human race. That's just us. What about the planet? What about the planet? If we are so slow behind, and maybe we're not, maybe we're just catching up. Maybe we're just getting to the point where the healing crisis is giving us a kick in the butt, helping us be aware, and, it was the healing crisis of watching so many people get lung cancer, and so many people, your friends and people that are dying from cigarette smoke, and dying from alcohol, and dying, and we keep witnessing it. So we stop smoking, and we slow down our drinking, and we cut back on things, but we're completely unaware of the fact that our personality is destroying our humanity, and we can't catch up to see what humanity would be like if it was humane, if it was healthy, if it expressed it, because it's not. It's very unhealthy. We're hardly even catching up to the things we have to change and become aware of. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is a very important thing to understand, the reality of long-term responsibility. Long-term, not short-term. You're taught in Buddhism and other places that life is temporary, short-term. It's not. It's not. It is not. It is infinite. It is as long as you can ever imagine. That's how long life is. It goes on and on and on and on. You die, you reincarnate, you keep going. The world is still there. The world is your personality. It's what you create while you're alive. The world you're in, the environment you're in, the music you're in. You leave it behind. Now you have a historical recapitulation to pass through when you reincarnate. Wow, beautiful, wonderful. It could be scary, it could be destructive, could completely wipe out your modern day reality of what you believe is true. You have to literally reset. You literally have to break away from everything and change. Because the habits are too instilled in your culture, too instilled in, I'm a black person, so this is how I have to act. This is the clothes I have to wear. This is the thing I have to do, Maybe I need an afro. Maybe I need this. Maybe I'm too white. Holy shit, we're in such a dilemma over our personality. Just our personality. And that's us. And what effect is that having on the earth? Major effect. Because we have to catch up. Here we are. We're catching up with ourselves. Can someone nudge you, Eric? He keeps falling asleep. We have to catch up with ourselves, and our true self is the outcome of this planet. We look back and we see the great pyramids. We see all the great cultures and things that have happened on the planet. We can't identify them with them so much because we have so many processes that have gone on in the world that's wiped out those cultures and then persecutes them, makes them demonic. makes them evil, makes them, you don't ever want to talk about it. And then they make up stories around it, historical stories, as though giants never existed, Just wipe them out, completely eliminate the historical aspect. And through sciences and anthropology and archaeology and in sociology and in the relationship of, archives, the Smithsonian Institute and other places, that we kind of depend on there to be a true archive of our history. This is where recapitulation comes in. How do we know what is best to change? How do we know? Since we're not told that we reincarnate, we really see no reason to look back. No reason at all. We just think it's like a waste of time. Who cares if, things were the way they were, Who cares? It matters, people. It really matters. Because it was you, Everything we are, we can learn much faster if we can identify with the past and the present combined. Combine them. Watch around. Look, if you're like me, you see reincarnation coming back. If there was a Hitler in 1947, there's a Hitler incarnated as a kid somewhere in 1955. He's 7 years old, he's 9 years old, he's 10 years old, and he's walking, he's talking. It is the law of reincarnation. Bad things happen, bad things return. Good things happen, good things return. If this isn't part of your existence, what is it you're putting your life into? You can't protect yourself from all the hell that comes from the past. You can't protect yourself. Because you've been given wrong information on an unwise world. And wisdom is everything. We're not interested in talking to masters. We're interested in talking to fakes. Fake masters, false prophets, Benny Hill, people who claim to be healing people left and right, people who claim to be prophets and talking to God and Jesus Christ and you name it. Even the Dalai Lama, he's under an illusion, inside of a system. He believes he is the Dalai Lama. He believes he's the Dalai Lama. What does that do to a person if you're not the Dalai Lama? If you're a person who stole the title of the Dalai Lama many, many lives ago, and you've been fighting to maintain that title by killing off all your enemies, the Panchen Lama, the Karmapa, Sharmapa, you know nothing if you don't look back at history. You won't see what's going on around you right now. You won't see that, who Trump is. Who was Michael Jackson? Who are these people? I see this in every life. Every life. No, nothing misses me. As Jesus, I knew everybody from the past, their present, and the bullshit that they're going to do in the future. I'm that way now. I was that way then. I'm always going to be that way. And you should be that way. Without discernment and discrimination and your higher spiritual considerations that come into reality, the fact that we reincarnate. And who are we hanging with? Who's in the world? If all of that is left from you, you get nothing. Nothing. You watch a Trump, and you listen to the crazy ass people, fanatics, and you watch Jim Jones, and you watch other people kill people, and they're thinking they're going to Star Trek, and just crazier shit you could ever imagine. But if you were me, you'd be doing what I do. Look back. Have they been here before? Has this happened before? Yes, it has. And are we seeing a reoccurrence of a series of events that have happened before? And we have no idea. What about all these people? What would draw people to join Hitler and gas people because they're Jews or they're this or that, other than being a fanatic, being overwhelmed in a state of fanaticism, drawn to this cult leader, who who in reality is an artist. He's not a, nothing. He's always wanted to be an artist. That's all he ever wanted to be, was an artist. And he becomes your evilest entity on the earth. But yeah, you walk around and you look at artists and you think, wow, they're nice guys. They're masters. They're masters, something to look up to, like Picasso, Rembrandt, all these great artists like Hitler. It's in the energy of those people, the same people. We're thinking those people, artists, whoa, man, they're nonviolent, they're not aggressive. Not true. They're the founders of violence, the founders of insanity, mental illness, driving people into opposites of reality and having no groundedness whatsoever into any sense of reality, simply because we're in a world that we don't focus on wisdom. We don't focus on our development. And we have spent hundreds and hundreds of many millions of years, let alone hundreds of thousands of years, developing our mind. And every time we develop our mind, we follow in behind a Caesar or a Trump or a Hitler, because we have no wisdom. We can't discern and discriminate. And we're all just, if you look back in history, it's like Pompeii. Just a bunch of transgender, homosexual, it's a whole city, whether it be Rome and the baths and the homosexual processes that went on there, to Pompeii, which is just a whole freaking city, devoted to all this process that we're living in today. And thinking, well, what can come of that? What could come of that? Not much, other than earth destruction. How about a worldwide flood? Has that ever happened? Cain, wiping away of the children of Cain. There's a history if we don't look back, And since we're mainly fanatics, we look back only on Bibles in a fanatic sense rather than a historical sense. Because the Bible was written as a historical sense, a historical thing. A relationship of what is going on present. Where was Jesus when he was born? Who was there? How did Jesus have a brother? What everybody thinks he was the first kid. But he had another brother, and it wasn't his mother's son, It was from his father. There's a whole bunch you don't know. There's a whole bunch. Unless you study the true history, unless you study his brother, what his brother says about what went on, you don't get the true image of what went on. Mary didn't say shit. Joseph didn't say shit. But his brother did. His brother James said a lot. All the time. He was overwhelmed. He was freaking out. The whole entire process of Jesus, the coming of the masters, the whole thing is a totally different story than what you know. And without us going back and looking back at true history, we wouldn't know. We go back into history and we go back to Adam and Eve and we see that these people lived nearly 1,000 years. 1,000 years. And the only thing that made them live shorter lives was sin. Sin. That's it. They weren't meant to die. That's a strange thing. How's that possible? And it's because they're from the body of Adam. They're from a heavenly host. This isn't the fallen humanity, human animal process. This is the process of the angel, the incarnate, the attribute of a bodhisattva, the attribute of a Buddha, the attribute of bodhisattva. So a Buddha is an angel. That's what the term angel means, is Buddha. And then when you take incarnation, you become a little Buddha. And you can forget. You can forget. And you could be misled. And you can misunderstand. and misinterpret without the friends that you need to support you. Other angels with like mind. Without that, no matter who you are, if you're God, doesn't matter who you are. Without that, without the support of the truth, wisdom, it comes from an energy of love. It comes from a collective consciousness of the angel. You know? And we have to wake up that bodhisattva, because we're being lied to that we're not this angel. Yeah? And we are. Historically, we can prove it. Yeah? The pyramids come from us. Yeah? Where else do they exist? We're angels. Yeah? But we're angels who have been completely brainwashed and followed fanatical, false teachers. Yeah? Look at our history. We followed the Pope. We went around killing everybody, hanging everybody, stretching people. You know, I mean, how bad can you get? That was horrendous. And when that was over with, we figured might as well go on with Hitler. Might as well go on with, you know, everything else that happens. Yeah. How do you make the first Church of Christ in Rome? You know, when it was Rome that put Jesus Christ on a cross. How do you do that? Yeah. You do if this whole thing is you know, it's a sham. You're made not to know that you reincarnate. You're made not to know that you're an angel. Yeah? And as an angel, your whole process is that you must awaken your angel, the good angel. Yeah? You have to awaken it. And it is 99.9% more of you than anything that represents a bad angel. Because that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a bad angel. Yeah? It just doesn't exist. Yeah? Even a creep like Trump has to have a collective body to manifest the law of hate. It requires it. A support system. Yeah? And, you know, he falls into his greed and his glamour and all of the vices, and others see the same view, same impression, the same hate. Yeah? And they're all just, you know, who do you think you are? You know, Adam, we'd never follow you. Who do you think you are? Jesus, we'd never follow you. Who do you think you are? God. You know, there's no such thing as a supreme God. You know, one God. You know, nope, we won't accept that. That's all in ignorance. That's all in the mind of ignorance. It doesn't exist in the mind of wisdom. Yeah, it's automatic. Yeah, God exists. Our reaction to God exists. You know, the growth process of God exists within us as bodhisattva, as bodhisattva, as becoming Buddha. Yeah, but in all of that, you know, that's when we change the earth, because we have no idea that we are the creators of this earth. We didn't just create, you know, the Great Pyramid. We created birds and trees. We changed dinosaurs into birds. Yeah? There weren't a whole lot of human beings running around with dinosaurs. Yeah? That was like many millions of years later. Look at them. They're not really human. You know? They're not of a body ready for an angel. Yeah? They're too dense. They're too Cro-Magnon. You know, little tiny brains. Yeah. They didn't know what to eat. They didn't know what to do. Everything was just what it was. No wisdom. And it got developed. Yeah. And that time goes on and on. But if we don't maintain ourselves in our reality, or the fact that if we look at our history, we have a history of the incarnation of the Lord that happens on our planet that has massively taught all the human beings. So we look back and we see the pyramid and we see all these things and civilizations that have happened because there was an incarnation of the Lord, facilitating an awakening, a reset, a shift in the entire consciousness of where people were thinking and doing. And a lot of this was done completely private, hidden away from society. whether it be in India, or, nobody knew it existed, whether it be on an island or whether it be in any place, it was always a part, whether like in the Himalayas, where it's hidden, and they are alone. They're not in a city, and they're not dwelling in circumstances that keeps them from awakening, So everything, in our society, in all of our world, we developed our ability through wisdom, through meditation, through the skills, and we've been here for millions of years. We can look back at our history. The pyramids are ours. We did all of that, But our biggest difficulty is the fact that we, because of all these false prophets, over the last few thousand years, we have been overwhelmingly misled, in a process of what is a truth. For 2,000 years, people have singly focused on Jesus Christ, the appearance of Jesus Christ. Is he coming? Yet I'm always here. I'm in Tibet. I'm doing my work. I was a Buddhist when I was Jesus Christ. All this is part of history. It was history then, and it's still history now. If you study Hindu and relationships of Hinduism, you'd find historical information about Jesus Christ walking around India, living in Srinagar, living out a life, telling them that he died, but yet he resurrected and he came back. And he is everything about what people say. And then he reincarnates and reincarnates and reincarnates and reincarnates and creates the pantheon of Tibetan Buddhism. And we have no idea. Everybody's going, when's he coming? What's going to happen? Is this going to change? We have no idea. That Padmasambhava incarnates 500 years after this, and there's hundreds of years of incarnations, of manifestations that are going on to enlighten the road of different enlightened male and female human beings that were able to come in contact with the Lord. And they were to become Buddhist, Bodhisattva, awaken their angel, fight, struggle, shut up, stop talking, stop thinking, use the force of your will for good, And you're not going to lose. Your ego will tell you, I'm losing, I'm a waste of life. Everybody else is getting something done. I'll never get to heaven if I never do the right thing, and here I am doing nothing. How can I possibly be doing the right thing? More worry would come across you than you could ever imagine. But that's Buddhism. That's the process of wisdom. And it's very difficult to awaken the angel that you are to be awakened. So it takes literally healing the mental, emotional, and physical body. Many, many, many lives. And then comes these Rinpoches, male and female form. They become incarnate masters. And they live in this world, and they surround me. I'm Jesus Christ. They surround me. Not other people. Not a bunch of fanatics, no Christians. The only people who surround me are my masters. And the rest is reincarnated tukus who are in Western bodies, whether from Europe or from America or whatever, but they're not. We're in a cycle of change. Where many, many, many tukus previously who had to be reincarnated in India or Nepal or Tibet are now incarnated in Western world, so that we can raise everything up. Here I'm bringing soul therapy, I'm bringing everything that I'm bringing into the world, we're bringing electric cars, all of this. There has to be like-minded people spread throughout the world as a new group of world servers. And these are healing inside of humanity, but what is their outcome? Their outcome isn't that they're going to get richer and that they're going to be, the masters that you would expect to see, but they're people who cooperate, people who are getting calmer, and they're finding, wow, vegetarianism, I'm just not attracted to it, I don't know why, but, you know, that keto diet really seems right to me, you know, and I'd really like to get rid of my nervousness and my hyper sense of whatever all that has got going on, you know, and there are ways to do that. And as you kind of go through that, your recapitulation helps you funnel your interest, you know, in ways that help the new group of world servers develop very quickly, yeah. And we're not aware of the new group of world servers, yeah, because they're the first two initiations that happen in a world when it's beginning to heal, when it's healing the earth, yeah. And we look at this, and if you look at this the way I'm telling you, you know, that this group is actually the group that understands that we have destroyed the planet, yeah, and that we've created war and it can be stopped, yeah, and that we've created false teachers and lawyers and governmental people who believe that they're the president because they're made by God to be the president, like Trump and people like that, yeah. Those are delusions of grandeur, and they're on every single ray. There is a delusion of grandeur in every one, whether it be the first ray, second ray, third ray, fourth ray, fifth ray. There's a delusion of grandeur, you know. And you could think that, oh, I got to be the president, or oh, I've got to be a king, or oh, I've got to be an artist, or oh, I have to be the engineer of the world, or oh, they're all just rays, you know, where you believe you're a messiah, you know, when you're the top of the whole thing and nothing is compared to you, yeah. And it's a opposite of Messiah reality. It's just a person who believes that they are greater than great. Yeah, delusions of grandeur. Yeah, and we have no idea what effect does delusions of grandeur have on our planet, our little bitty planet, when we're trying to maintain birds. We're trying to give life to bees. The wisdom of humanity is just now recognizing the fact that if we lose bees, we lose everything. Yeah, we lose everything. Yeah, we get no fruit, we get no vegetables. Yeah, we get nothing. The animals die. Everything goes. Yeah, nothing is pollinated. Life dies, cycle after cycle. Yeah, and it's not just the loss of bees. What happens if you lose water? Yeah, these are all elements, aspects in elements. Yeah, and when things are drying up really bad, and we have no wisdom to understand why is it we're losing these bees? Well, could it be because we're in a drought, and the bees are dying because of the drought? They have no flowers, they have no pollen, they have nothing. Yeah, it is not in the season that it would normally be. That cycle of life isn't being maintained. Yeah, so we're not maintaining what we need to maintain because we've overdone. You know, we overkill. We have no idea that we're doing that. And it's all inside of our personality. Our personality is directly connected to our planet. We're one and the same. Yeah, the elements that run through us, you know, that just flow through us. You know, we eat Cracker Jacks. You know, we just eat shit. You know, we could live on cardboard. Yeah, we really can. That's just how God made us. Yeah, but doesn't mean that we should. Yeah, and all those things that we keep putting into us, they deaden our elemental ability to bless the elements, to bring them value. Yeah, to bring them characteristics and quality and the ability to express themselves. Yeah, we have no idea that elements is everything. Yeah, it's all about the elements. Yeah, the gem essences, flower essences, homeopathy, energetic medicine. Yeah, it's where we learn that elements do have an active part to play in our psychological well-being or our physical well-being. Yeah, or even our ability to manifest into the world. If you take a flower essence and you study it and you look at it and you go, wow, look at all these negative components that are in the flower essence. You know, fear of everybody dying, fear of somebody getting in a car accident the moment they leave the house. Yeah, and you know, it's right there in the flower essence. There is a specific flower essence for people who are afraid, totally freaked out when someone leaves the house, that they're going to die. Yeah? And all those things, paranoia, the process of being weak in the heart and having suspicion and jealousy, enviousness, all those feelings, all those things that we think are real, think they're really real. We could subject other people to saying, oh, it's because of you, it's because you said this, because you did this. But if you take these essences, it just goes away. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. So it really is the essence of the element that allows us to forgive and forget. And we have no idea that we require this. We can't do it in our intellectual mind, forgive and forget. We really can't. We have to develop a right relationship to these elements. Yeah, it's so important. That's what Buddhism helps to bring into play. So we become more and more aware of the elements. So we listen to the pujas, we hold the etheric weavers, we do this work in order to establish a calmer, peaceful experience. Yeah? And that brings about elemental change. Yeah? And we have a world right now, our world is in such a state of chaos, so many aggressive processes are going on. We have drought to such a degree, and everywhere. In China, it's the worst drought you can ever imagine. I mean, look it up, look up drought in China, and you're going to go, holy shit, wow, is it drought? That's real drought. Major portions of China have no water. Yeah? The water that they do have is so polluted because they use more fertilizer, more bullshit in what they use in their life with no control. That leaches into the water basin. It leaches into your town, into anything. So you can't drink the water that's sitting on top, and you can't drink the water that goes under the earth. Yeah? It's so polluted. Yeah? And then they have a drought. And there's not even water. So what do? Yeah? You move. You migrate. Yeah? You go from another place to a distant place. And study it, almost everybody in China lives where there's no water. Isn't that fascinating? It's the truth. It's the truth. So they suffer greatly because they're all living up, in places where there is no water. And there's nothing going to be done for that whatsoever, because water is where water is. Water is a nature thing. It's all based on a nature thing. Yeah, our nature, everything. Yeah. So it's really, we could remain confused, we can remain ignorant, we can remain without wisdom and completely be unveiled, in a reality, as far as one step at a time, one little bit of unveiling, a little bit over here of unveiling. But that, I'm telling you, we got to catch up. We have to catch up. And it's a consciousness thing. Yeah. So it's not about, whether or not we choose, government or this or that. It's about whether or not we choose to become Buddhist. Angels. Yeah. Yeah. If you're going to be a Christian, realize that Jesus Christ is the head angel, and that every single living human being is an angel, just as Jesus Christ. Just as Jesus Christ. And that's the only teaching Jesus has, is that you all are saved because you're from the same house. You're from the same house. Yeah? You're not from hell. Yeah? You're not from an animal. You didn't evolve out of an ape. Yeah? Yeah? You're not a biped. You never have been, never will be. Yeah? Your personality goes on and on and on. Yeah? But your soul is meant to be what it's meant to be, the angel. Yeah? So our whole purpose in life is to awaken that angel by meditating, by relaxing, by staying calm, Yeah, keeping our elements at bay. Yeah, having as little anxiety as we can possibly muster. You know, just shut it down. You know, choose that that's not the way you want to think. Yeah, immediately. Mindfulness. Yeah, you have to practice. It is. That's why Jesus the Christ, the Lord Himself, Krishna, you know, Shiva, Babaji, you name me any name you like me for. You know, I am only one person. One person. Yeah, and I only give one teaching. One teaching. Yeah, and that we are angels and we reincarnate. Yeah, and we have to practice Buddhism to awaken the angel that we are. We have to practice it. Yeah, and it's not a religion or a dogma of any kind, but it has to be something you see, you understand, you look. Yeah, you watch TV, whatever you're watching, you want that to come out. You want to see that good people are becoming Buddhists. Yeah, the good people out there. Yeah, the ones that don't claim this and that and aren't crazy and all kinds of shit. They just go, well, actually, I'm a Buddhist. Yeah, and they explain as to why they're a Buddhist. Yeah, because I believe in Jesus Christ. And I believe everything that He said. And that the only way I can get there is through meditation. The practice of Buddhism leads me to the Lord. Yeah? And there isn't anything there in all that we're going to learn, yeah, that doesn't come from this reality. You know, the fact that we are recapitulating, you know, our truth. And that the history of our past has been dominated by illusions and delusions. We do not look back. What we do look back at, we only have the scary-ass side of it coming at us, you know, rather than the positive side that is being cleaned up. If we recognize the reality that the world has to change, heal, it has to heal, yeah, that there is drought, that drought's going to get worse. What happens with that drought? Yeah? This is where compassion comes in. This is how your bodhisattva wakes up, is by seeing the suffering. And having compassion and empathy start to come up. Yeah? It starts to come. Yeah? And you can't unless you start to see. Yeah? So I have to explain. I have to give understanding to you. So you could see the future a bit. See the past a bit, yeah, and see your present responsibility, you know, and what a big thing it is for who you are, yeah. We could make a big difference in this thing, yeah. But it's about Buddhism, yeah. Our process on this earth, if we do not take care of this properly, you know, if we do not accept Jesus Christ as the Buddha incarnated, yeah, and accept the reality that the teachings that He gives in Buddhism applies us to protect us from demons and all of our own personal lower nature from coming back and making manifest into our life, causing us hell, causing us to destroy our loved ones, to make karma in the world and destroy the earth. Wow, you know, that's heavy shit. And it's the truth. It's the truth. We are not saving our brothers and sisters. We are not saving our husbands and wives. We are not saving anybody. Nobody. You're not saving yourself. You can't do this without Jesus the Christ. You must understand the teachings. Yeah? The process of this is moving us. Right now, we're looking at a world where we are primarily drought throughout the world. Primarily drought. Which creates immigration and other problems. But it creates mainly unhealthiness. It destroys masses, millions and millions and millions and millions of people overnight. Overnight. And we can't change it because the water's not coming. Yeah? And we try and pull the water up from the earth and people get sicker. Their personality gets worse. Yeah? Their mental, emotional, and physical body gets worse. Yeah? Because we need these things to survive. We need water. We need pure air. We need food. We need these things. If the water goes, we lose food because we're crazy. We think we need rice. We think we need grains. We've polluted all the water and all the waterways and under the earth. We've polluted and destroyed it. Yeah? Because we're under a lot of lack of wisdom, we are not Buddhists. If we were real Buddhists, practicing I've been here for 70 years and I've been teaching carnivore since I could talk. Yeah. I tried to live as a vegetarian for 12 years. Yeah. Just so that I could live through it and see what happens. What goes on with a person if they're vegetarian? Is this a healthy place? I mean, I went to Sprouts, I went to wheatgrass, I went completely organic, I never ate any meat, nothing. Yeah, 12 years. The only thing that got me was high blood pressure and a sugar problem. Was leading to diabetes. Yeah, inflammation throughout my body. Yeah, even though I was thin and I was an athlete and I ran marathons, the more I was a vegetarian, the more unhealthier I got. By the end of the 12 years, I had arthritis, I had high blood pressure, I had you name it. And I was only 33 years old. That's ridiculous, And I had had it. I just said, I don't care what all you people say. And there is only one thing that I know I need to do is fast and eat meat. That's my life. That's what I need to do. That's what I got to do. And that was my way of survival. That was my elements telling me what to do, my wisdom coming back. Not a thing of reading Krishna and, Krishna only eats vegetarian, or, is Jesus or Buddha a vegetarian? Study it. They were never vegetarians. Yeah, that just really shakes up, nice. That just shakes up a lot of the illusion and delusion around spirituality and having to be vegetarian. Yeah, we're all moved into this process of thinking these are the things we need to do because it's a mass psychosis. And this is how we should live our life. Yeah. So I passed through that, got through that, listened to everybody, to see what is everybody's, how they're going to change. Everybody's following Jim Jones. Everybody's going more and more vegetarian. Everybody's taking more and more a homosexual look at life, and not even thinking AIDS is a warning. Not even thinking it's a warning. Just shocked the shit out of me. I became so shocked from that and so many things from the time I was 30. It was an unraveling of absolute enlightenment. There's no way I could run from the bullshit that all of you are in and that I was in, sitting in. I had been drafted in the military. I had gone through everything. I was a vegetarian. I went through everything. Yeah? And I found out that we are all conned. This is not real. It's not at all real in any way, shape, or form. It's led in an astral illusion. Yeah? And we have to break it. And you can only break it through Buddhism. So by the time I was 33, I was collected again by the Tibetans, and reassured over and over and over again, you are Buddha Maitreya, and you are the reincarnation of Padmasambhava, and all these previous things. We need you to get enthroned. We need you to be recognized, And in doing so, there was no way I can walk into it and say, you all got to become vegetarians. You all got to follow a Sakyamuni belief system. I didn't do that. I completely made my own Buddhism. Maitreya Buddhism. I created etheric weavers. I created my own puja. I went into a studio, did all my own shit. never done by anybody. I did Chinrezi Puja, I did a Padmasambhava Puja, because they're my past lives. And I was just there to instill into humanity my history. My history. And that was a way for me to unveil all of you. By me finding my history. Yeah? By me unveiling my entire history. Yeah? So here I'm now sitting, with an enormous amount of clarity, truly about my history, but now I am completely aware of the fact that what it is you got to do. Yeah? And what will be the outcome of that? What will be the exact outcome for our world? Because right now we're in a process to where, because of our emotions, because we've been led by false prophets, and we thought that Trump might even be the Christ, the orange Christ, people did it. People kept, even in the office of the president, they're all going, the orange Christ, we got to back the orange Christ, and they're and others are going, what? Did you really say that? So yeah, it's for sure. Don't you know it? And it's just getting deeper and deeper. Just as he's losing the election, everybody's getting crazier over the process that he could be Christ. And we're actually going against Christ. Yeah? In reality, he's the Antichrist. Yeah? And we need to look back, short term, just past, go back to 2016, maybe another 10 years further, investigate it. And you're going to uncover the Antichrist. Yeah? And that's an impossible thing, hard to do. Yeah? And it's being done because I am fortifying wisdom on the earth. Yeah? I can see what you can't see. I can see way beyond what you cannot see. Yeah? And I know that if we pull this off, if we go in this direction and hold ourselves in this direction and have outcomes, like put this guy in jail, surround the people that are trying to do this, destroy democracy, I am setting up worldwide democracy around the world, even in England. Right now, England is deciding to become a democracy. England. Russia is preparing for parliament and to establish a democracy after they get rid of Putin. Oh, wow, that's amazing, but it's true. The whole world, even China, even Nepal, even Tibet, and already Bhutan has established democracy. It's not something that we're interested in. It's not, oh, we'll go this way or we'll go that way. No, there's only one way. Yeah? And that's under Christ. That's what democracy is. And we're being moved without any real clear understanding as to how or why. But it's a healing crisis. Yeah? And humanity has been led through a process of false prophets. Whether it be a Pope or a Dalai Lama or Michael Jackson or whoever, and I truly understand why and how it happened to all of you. But I am not going to allow it to happen again. Yeah? I'll bust Michael Jackson before he leaves his body, and I will make him leave his body in the worst possible way you'll ever imagine. I'll bust the Antichrist. I'll bust Putin. I will bust all of them. Every single one of them will be busted. Yeah? I don't care if you're a Muslim leader, your ass is grass. It's done and over with. This is not your planet. Yeah? Your rulers, your lunar lords, you're under delusions of grandeur. Yeah? That grandeur's over with. Yeah? Nothing grand about it at all. Yeah? It's a delusion of grandeur. Yeah? So my wisdom is the wisdom that's waking you up. I'm not waiting for your wisdom. I'm not waiting for people to join Buddhism or anything like that. My faith in you, my knowing who you are, is waking you up. Yeah? And you have no idea how much I got to take on shit, to do this. because there can't be any doubt in any living human being as co-creator to God. There can't. And you have to facilitate that so that they could step up and be that element of a deva rather than a diva, that just completely is absorbed in this lunar aspects of illusion and delusion. It doesn't exist. The astral plane does not exist as long as wisdom is profoundly penetrating that astral plane. It's over with. There's nothing you can do about it. Here's a little thing on Trump that got a guy in trouble.
At the Stewart Draft Baptist Church in Virginia's Shenandoah Valley.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see
Baptist
you all
Church.
worship together.
Think about that.
This Sunday service is led by a pastor who took the place of this pastor.
I don't want to start controversy. Apparently, God does. And I'm just the messenger.
Taking his place after this outdoor sermon during the worst of the COVID pandemic, just a few months before the 2020 presidential election.
Why will we not finally admit that we have put a liar in our White House? Why will we not finally admit that that is Antichrist?
And William Kopp, who had been the spiritual leader of this evangelical Southern Baptist church for 14 years, wasn't anywhere near done talking about then President Donald Trump.
18,000 fact-checked lies in 1,100 days is more than just unacceptable. It is more than just sin. It is more than just wrong. It is demonic.
And then Kopp added this.
And you can't deny it, because Jesus says it. And if you choose to deny that, then you choose to deny Jesus. You can't have it both ways. You can't support the lie and claim the truth. You can't support the Antichrist and support the Christ.
This is William Kopp and his wife Carol today.
After you made this sermon, what happened to you?
I was fired.
I knew when I heard it that we would not be staying at the church.
I want to say he was a friend.
Jim Brooks is a deacon at the church.
The thing that got me was at the very end, Pastor Kopp said that if you voted for Trump, you are not a Christian. That was the biggest thing for me.
Within 48 hours, William Kopp says, the church leaders, including Deacon Brooks, asked for his resignation.
Is what you're saying, do you believe that people cannot be good Christians or thinking Christians if they support Donald Trump?
That's a real tough one. And probably that's exactly what I'm saying.
William Kopp says his sermon criticized other political and religious leaders too, and contends it was not a political speech, but a moral one. Sermons in evangelical churches combining politics, morals, and faith are far from rare. 2 days before the 2020 election, listen to this pastor in Maine.
We have an election on Tuesday. I pray God's mercy grants President Donald Trump victory. I don't have a problem standing here in front of you and saying so.
And 4 days after Election Day, this Texas pastor referring to the so-called stolen election.
Expose all wickedness intended to steal, to kill, and destroy the electoral process in these battleground states. Now let's pray.
According to surveys from the Pew Research Center, it appears there's a strong association between Trump's political movement and the evangelical religious label. The research from last year further indicates that, among all white adults who participated in both the 2016 and 2020 surveys, 25% described themselves as born-again or evangelical Protestants in 2016. 29% described themselves this way in 2020.
In 2 Corinthians 5:21,
the current pastor of the Stewart's Draft Church, Billy Coffey, who talked to us off camera, says he loved Pastor Kopp, but told us many congregants were upset and hurt by what he said, and would leave if Pastor Kopp did not. So it was a matter of saving the church rather than saving the pastor. The new pastor telling us, when you mix religion and politics, it won't make religion better. William and Carol Kopp have now moved to North Carolina. and have joined a Presbyterian church, where he will occasionally fill in for pastoral duties.
What do you think the Lord thinks of what you said in your sermon that day?
Well done, my good and faithful servant.
And that's fact. That's exactly what I think. And I think that of everybody. I think you all got this happening. You see the process when Trump lied and told everybody it was stolen, and he tried to get everybody in his crew to go along with him. Well, nearly everybody who worked for him quit that day. You know? They quit. They walked out. They never went back. You know, even the assistant to Melania quit. You know, because the man's full of shit. And you can't go any further in this. Yeah. And not only lies, thousands of lies per day, you know, but just the fact that he lies. Imagine lying. You know, there is a process in lying. The fact that in lying, you get caught. God catches you. God turns it back around. You get busted if you're not real evil. If you're evil, then you keep doing even more evil. And you lie more consistently, more frequently, more diluted, more exaggerated, just like Trump, yeah, with no remorse, no emotional contact whatsoever to it, yeah. And God pulls away on that, steps back, yeah. Doesn't get involved in the process. Karma is what it is. God deals with people who are going to change. People who do have a heart. People who are ready to be a better person. You know, God is consistent in helping in that area. But the stealers, the liars, the thieves, the killers, they will continue. And God doesn't have a lot of control over them. And you need to understand this. Yeah. You know, don't blame, you know, the bad things that happen in the world on God. God's taking care of people that are willing to try and do good things. Yeah, and make them stronger and make it possible for us to reach that level. Yeah. So lying is a big thing in the Antichrist. Yeah. And it's really not that easy to do. Yeah. Even a little lie can get to your conscience, you know. But look at this guy. Now turn that into a lot of lies, really big lies, terrible lies, and think of Russia.
Story. 21-year-old Siberian Nikita's battled broken bodies beyond repair.
We dream of war at night, all the time.
He jumped on a mine laid by his own in a trench and hopes for prosthetics to walk when he gets home. As for
Now he says we dream of war a lot, every night. Now if you know of Russia, you're indoctrinated in war as a young child. You go through military, wear military clothing, you know, it's all about willingness to fight for mother country. Yeah. And it's so important that we are warriors, you know, and that we defend our country and everything, you know. So war is important. Yeah, because we, as Russians, we think that everybody's out after us, trying to destroy our federation, you know, all the things that propaganda has brought to Russia. Yeah, and it mainly is, look into it. You'll find that as a child, as a young child, all boys are trained to be in the military. Yeah, and they may not go in the military. They, you know, certainly don't want to be professional military or things like that. But as a culture, they are designated with desire. They dream of being in the military, to be a hero. We dream of it, to be a hero for the country. Yeah, because they see the statues and they see all this propaganda based on that. So that's that. You know, rather than being a rich person and everything, it's to be a military hero. Yeah, that's Russia. So, listen to what this guy says.
His roommate Vitali, whose leg was shattered by a grenade, as a student, he tells us, he was duped into thinking he was off for training.
All mobilised troops have the same story. We weren't trained, just sent. Nobody was trained. Sent like the idiots to slaughter.
Many have been.
Study that. You'll find that, we're talking tens of thousands of people, maybe 100,000 of men that were taken and told that they're going to go be trained. You're going to go to boot camp, you're going to get your weapons, you're going to be trained to be a soldier. And you dream to be a soldier, This is your desire body. This is who you are. You're a Russian. You're a man, a real man. Yeah. But then you get on the bus, you get on the train, you're going to go to boot camp. They put your clothing on you. They give you a hat, give you your boots, give you your socks, maybe a change of clothes, maybe a backpack, maybe, but not a lot. And you get a gun, but you're never trained on how to use it. You're never trained to anything about the military. Nothing. Yeah. So this is what happens. Watch this.
Here for months, their release is subject to a pecking order that appears to favour senior military personnel or those with money and connections to Russia's elite.
Suffering is universal. It doesn't pick sides. We don't know for sure, and we can't really, but it's likely that Ukrainian soldiers held in Russia's camps are faring far worse than in this place. And although prisoner exchanges are picking up, the intensity of combat on the front lines mean they'll probably never keep pace with the sheer number of prisoners surrendering and entering this system.
Surrendering. Yeah. And that's something you don't do as a Russian. You want to be a hero. Surrender is not going to make you a hero. So there's something going on. Something really big. Democracy. Human rights. A way of thinking that isn't instilled in the astral plane. No matter what culture you're in, no matter what your situation is, the circumstances that God is creating, where I said God doesn't get involved. Today, God is involved. God's very, 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 very involved, and you're a deep shit. The struggle that we're all going to be put through is going to be intense, but I'm going to make it possible so that you do not go through a nuclear war. Yeah, but I can't slow down the process of the inevitable disaster in health and social conditions. Your process of not taking care of your diet and running your industries the way we did, and having absolutely little or any control whatsoever over our desire bodies of alcohol and everything that goes on. Going to football games, so many things we have to change in order not to waste the energy of this planet. All the plastic that's out there now, we have to redo that. We can't just recycle it. We can't just do that. There's so much more to all of this that has to be done. To catch up is almost impossible. But we will. And because of the Buddha reality, because of Bodhisattva, because of the awakening elemental nature inside of humanity, those elements will go into the earth. That's the design that I've set up. I created the science of Metatronics, temple building. You're a temple. The earth is a temple. It's going to take you a long time to catch up anywhere to the place where I'm teaching, but you're benefiting from it. I'm going to still teach you. I'm going to teach you on high, at the very highest level, from the very center of Shambhala, because I have to save you. I can't allow the ignorance to maintain. I have to straight out tell you you cannot do vegetarian. Straight out, you can't do it. And that's going to cut out an enormous amount of wasted time of hundreds of years of people trying to be vegetarian and homosexual and all the things that you're going to continue doing as you waste the world away and harm each other without any changes to stop harming each other. You're going to stop harming each other dramatically. Yeah. And it's going to cause effect into the world dramatically. Yeah. And you're going to see rain. Yeah. You're going to see changes that didn't seem to ever happen before. You're going to see plants grow that never grew before. Yeah. You're going to see flowers spring up that are so beautiful and powerful. Yeah. That we rarely ever see. Trees that will grow 10 times the size of what they ever grew before because of prana, vitality. Yeah. You know, right now we look at the earth and it's dry and cracked and everything is dying. Yeah. And the water underneath it is so polluted and concentrated with all the bad shit we've ever put into water. It's concentrated. Yeah. And that's what we're going to get. You know, we have to think quickly to not drink out of, throw away plastic bottles. Quickly, we have to do this. Quickly, we have to stop going to the bathroom in a regular toilet. Quickly, we have to stop eating the way that we do. We have to eat the meat. We have to eat the right kind of meat. We have to do this in a local way. We have to eat consistently and small, moderate amounts and get ourselves healthy. Healthy as possible. Yeah. And in doing that, we change the process. Could be thousands of years. We jump ahead if you follow what I'm doing. Yeah. Thousands of years. Technologies and advancements will come your way beyond your wildest imagination because of cooperation. The ability, the wisdom that I'm putting into the world is increasing cooperation to change and not be freaked out. Oh no, I really need my dragster. I got to have a dragster in the world. We got to have big fat tires and, compete with each other, and all that kind of the mental shit that goes on in people that do this sort of thing is going to die. That's called rebirth. Yeah. And everybody's going to go through this rebirth. The process is that, it's not of God's interest is for you to have to die to make a change. Yeah. But for God to give you so many gifts that makes it available for you to change quickly. Yeah? For you to have purified water, for you to work with sunlight, for you to work in technologies that are advancing you. Imagine, we have no idea that a regular house is more polluted inside than it is outside. You're dying because you're sitting in a house. Yeah? All the pollen and mold and bullshit, you're breathing it, and you're not breathing beautiful fresh air, you're sitting there, with your pollen and your allergies, and you can't get past them, because, we haven't figured out that we really are in need of a really pure world, elementally pure. Really clean air, really good food, yeah, purified in every way. Yeah. So as we move forward, we find that, hey, windows are probably not that healthy for us, and we have no idea. That's way outside the box. Thinking windows are unhealthy for us. We're all going psychologically, open up a window, get some fresh air in here. Let's make it better. Yeah, that is a good idea. But what if the air out there is really bad and the air in here is really bad? Shouldn't we just purify this thing and recycle it? Yeah, and not allow the mold to grow? Not allow the things that we've got going on to do what they're doing? Without any awareness whatsoever in ourselves as to what's happening. Yeah, it's just growing. Yeah. So as we change, my sciences will come into this world, and inevitably, like right now, eating meat, and dropping away from eating a lot of bread and all the different things that we normally would eat, and, all the rice and the grain as being a vegetarian is a healthy thing, and all these things we have to somehow get past, moving past those things. We are going to enter into a whole other area of things that we're not aware of, like electric cars. We're not aware of the fact that the benefit of electric cars will be best for our soul. We have no idea. To integrate our soul, we have to do good. We have to do good. Yeah? You can't, drive around a big fat truck, with gas, pouring into it and all the shit, and you're aware of the fact that that's going on and that it's not good, and that if you were to choose, you could choose to get an electric car. But then you got friends that go, it's all just works off coal anyway, and all the electricity comes off of coal or comes off of oil. So really you're driving an oil-filled car, there's no such thing as electricity, That's what they tell you. That's what your worst friends tell you. They're driving a pickup truck and they hate you, because you've got a Tesla. Yeah. Those are mindsets. Yeah. And they're hate. It's hostility. It's aggression. It's part of everything in the world that gets stuck in things when we get into inertia and we hold on to a culture. Oh, I can't leave this town, or I can't leave this house, or I can't leave this person. Because we're so set into a fanatic scenario. It's our fanaticism that locks us in. It doesn't allow us to see any reasoning as to why we should change, because we're creature comfort. Yeah? That's why there's so many restaurants. That's why in the restaurant they say, eat the creature comfort food. Yeah? Eat the creature comfort food. Creature comfort. Are you a creature? Really? Yeah? It's not a good idea, folks. Creature comfort. Yeah? Yeah? Your donuts. Yeah? Yeah? Your vats of fried oil. Yeah? Yeah? Creature comfort. Yeah? And everything that we do, all the things that we do, there are certain innuendos, statements, words, things, like soul food. Yeah? Yeah? We're thinking, wow, soul food, got to be great. Well, wait a minute. Why do they call it soul food? Because it's a black person cooking it. Wait a minute. If there's a white person in there, it's not soulful? Correct. Huh. So I'm being cursed. Yeah? If you go to Hawaii, they do the same thing for you. Yeah? You see a Hawaiian, and their heads are going, yeah, right, yeah. Haole. Yeah, they call you a haole. That means a soulless being. Person without breath. Yeah? That's what it means. Yeah? And they mean it. They mean it. It's just like American Indians. And they look at a white person. What do you think they're thinking? Soulless being. Person without breath. Yeah? And a black person. What do you think they're thinking when they look at a white person? Devil. Devil incarnated. Trust me. Read it. Read it. I'm not talking prejudice. I'm not saying, black people think crazy thoughts. No, this is shit that they do. This is the truth. They're so depressed and pushed down and treated by these white supremacists. Burn them on a cross and do that. Who else can you think they are than the devil? Yeah? How would you not think that? Yeah? Yeah, and then you try and live amongst them. Yeah? You try and keep your peace. But every time you look at one, there's a twist in there. Can I trust this devil? Yeah? 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 And it's a real problem for all of us. You go to Japan, go to Tibet. Tibet, they would never allow a white person to walk across the border. They'd kill you. They'd kill you. They'd poison you if they found you. Yeah? Yeah? If you hadn't come in contact with somebody who cleared your ass, because all of you are, what do you call that when you're on the lowest level of people, what do you call that? They call, what was it? No. It was kind of like I don't know, just a country or a group of people that are just so hostile. What's that? No, not even white trash, but that's a good one. Yeah. No, they thought them just as people that were illiterate and stupid and, just not like foreigners, but just, Nope, not infidels either. That's a good one. Yeah, that's probably fits the same subject. Yeah, but that's how it goes. You can't go in to Tibet. You can't go into China. You can't go into Japan. Yeah, you can't go into these regions because they think that you're this way. You're from another country, and you just like anybody coming to America, and you're an American Indian. They looked at you. And they said, you're just, you're the lowest caste of human creature on the planet. You're not real to us. You're just the most hostile, aggressive, meanest, Yeah. So it doesn't matter what country you're coming from. The borders is just like Trump, let's put a wall up. Why? And then he just starts talking, well, they rape your children, they'll bring fentanyl, they just, they put it in your coffee, the Mexicans, you got to trust them. Yeah, true. He says shit like that. You don't want them across your border. Over 1 million have already come across. Our whole nation is being ruined. What? Really? Yeah. It's because we have so much of this going on in ourselves. It's got to go. And it's tough. Because there's innuendos in every place that is a supremacist scenario. Whether you're a Japanese supremacist, or a Chinese supremacist, or a Muslim supremacist, or a Jewish supremacist, or an English supremacist, or a Turkey supremacist, or an African supremacist. Doesn't matter. And it totally eliminates the earth. We're wiping away the soul. We're taking away everything that has to do with our compassion, our empathy, our growth, our better nature. So all this has to be healed. It has to be completely healed for me to get this thing to work correctly. For you not to incarnate people like Trump and people like that, you got to be willing. You got to be willing, because it's going to happen, folks. You may hate black people, but you will incarnate as a black person. What are you going to do? Hitler incarnated as Michael Jackson. Not happy. Michael Jackson didn't like this. He didn't like this. He didn't like that dark skin. Nope. He got paler than any of you. Because he hated it. He hated it. Couldn't stand it. What are you going to do? If you hate it so much, and then all of a sudden you keep incarnating into what you hate. And you end up like Michael Jackson looking in the mirror going, holy shit. Every single thing, all these things are just, look at, whether it be, we have Trump and all the creatures that come off of that bus, and the influences that come in, that we all have to try and cope with, are coming off higher on higher levels of delusions of grandeur. You take Trump and then you look at his kids and you go, wow, who makes kids like that? Even every single one of them is an elemental piece of work. Totally, they're all an elemental piece of work. You would have to literally carve them out and give them names and create a caste of evil substituted humans, to create this group, and then they just, they all say the same bullshit. They're all crazier than shit, but they come off the element of Trump. Yeah? So imagine they're all just, just like how Jews think of other people, how blacks think of white people. Well, this is how Trump thinks of the world. Yeah? None of you are Trump. This is the Trump family. We are the brand. And not one of you will ever be a Trump. Yeah? That is the biggest astral door that surrounds humanity. Yeah? That whether it be a king or whether it be a Dalai Lama or a pope, it's that delusion of grandeur that creates the aura that makes a person then say all the things that they say and do the things that they do. Yeah. And when you're Trump and you have all this, I'm Trump, and the Trump Tower and Trump Golf and Trump this and Trump, Trump you, it's just, we're all sitting in a place of fanaticism where that gets so big we think he's God. We think he's the Messiah, not just a politician. How do you go? How many politicians have we had who we thought was the incarnation of Jesus Christ? Where religions came in and said, we have prophesied that God said he has to be the president as a Messiah. Yeah? He has to. For the second coming. And books are written about this guy. How is that possible? That such a big degree, especially religion, is what made him president. Religion. Yeah? And then all the religions went totally wacky-toon. They went nuts. Claiming that, oh God, he's going to be back in the office within a month. God said to me, that Trump will be back in the office in less than a month. Holy glory be, yes. Spank that little shit. Let's do it. It's real. It's real. Every single one of these false prophets went wacky-toon because they prophesied that he would absolutely be the Messiah. And to prove he's the Messiah, he would be re-elected as president. So they used the office of the president to externalize the Antichrist. Not as anything else other than the Antichrist. Does that make sense? We didn't elect somebody. Yeah? We brought the Antichrist into our life. Now he doesn't want to go away. Right? Yeah? Now he says, I'm coming back and I'm going to be president again. Do you think there's going to be an earth after that? No, there's not. Not one living human being will exist after that happens, if he's elected. There will be 4 nuclear wars caused by that man, if he's elected. 4 nuclear wars. 4! Because of the collective embodiment of karma and the Antichrist and the number of people that have followed Satan to fulfill the destruction of earth, the outcome of earth. It's the only interest, because this is heaven. It's the only embodiment of heaven that exists. Yeah, we can think it's in the clouds, we can think it's in some kind of place, but it's not. This is heaven. This literally is heaven. Yeah? Everything we know about heaven is this earth and its solar system and Jesus Christ. Everything we know about it is this place. And if this can be knocked out, we've slowed everything down. We've turned it completely around. Yeah, and that's their goal, and it can never happen. Can never happen. So such an evil event, such a horrible thing of destroying the earth, destroying all of you, making you do the wrong thing once again, and have to listen to all these people say the shit they say after they elect him. And he loses so big, and then he comes back around and says, I'm going to sue the whole world. We're going to keep you tied up in court cases and illusions and media bullshit with my name until I croak. That's going to be your existence. Yeah? And it's not. Yeah? It's going to turn out completely different because of wisdom. Because of wisdom, people. Yeah? That's the difference. In the process of my externalization is transmission. And through transmission, I give you what it is I'm saying. And you can't have what I'm saying. Where it comes from, how I'm presenting it, why I'm presenting it, the whole thing is all wrapped up in the highest level of wisdom. Yeah? So I'm the only one. I'm it. Yeah? And maybe 100 years, 200 years from now, you will join me in this process after I've saved your ass. You know? But there's too much going on right now. You know? You're going to need to be saved, and you need to do your best to bring this about, to change this outcome. Yeah? Because everybody, you know, every single person who gets an etheric weaver, every person who does soul therapy, every person who, you know, becomes part of what I'm doing, magically makes manifest the change of the Devic world, awakens the Devic world in this earth by hundreds of thousands of times. Yeah? And it's just, you know, our delusions of ignorance by seeing these people and all the shit that goes on. We think that, you know, how can this make such a big difference? But it is. It's the only difference there is. The only difference. And hundreds of years from now, you'll see every single bit of it add up. Now, oh my God, you know, there isn't a thing that was created. Everything was destroyed and rebuilt by Jesus Christ. That's amazing. A one-man show did that. Yeah. And you'll look back over it as a fanatic going, oh no, it was Elon Musk. Oh no, it was Trump. Oh no, it was Amazon. Oh no, you know. But the truth is we never really made it to Mars. And you look back at the truth, you know, you go, wow, who stopped that? It was Jesus the Christ, the Buddha. Yeah, but we didn't know about him until, you know, 2300. Didn't matter. He's been here all along. He's, you know, taken this whole thing and straightened it all out. And it may take that long for the masses of humanity to go, oh, it's exactly him. It's not Elon Musk. It's not this. It's not that. Then all of a sudden, all of that doesn't come back. Yeah? And money is not the ruler of your soul. Right now, all these lunar lords, they're only focused on money. This will get me to Mars. This will get me to be the richest person on the planet. I don't care what the goal is. Yeah, it's not our truth. Yeah. So let me show you one more thing. Yeah, I think I finished that. Yeah, I did. Here's some good things. In my process, I'm helping to develop technologies, and one of the technologies that I'm working with is getting sunlight to people. That I know it's easy, go outside, you know, get sunlight. But we live in a circumstance to where we think we have to have windows and you need the sunlight to come in, and now you need to turn the air conditioner on, and you know, you lose all your heat, you lose everything because you have windows. Yeah. And you know, almost all of our energy that we're using in the world is being wasted by having windows. You know, we don't think it, you know, but it's true. Yeah. And we don't live in domes, and we don't live in pyramids. So we don't have the geomancy effect that's coming from that either. You know? But getting rid of windows, insulating, creating a purified situation, making your fresh air, the plants you have in your house that are led by the light that's coming into your room that's not from a window or skylight. Yeah? Nothing. Yeah? It's from this.
Selector. No, it's not a Hollywood blockbuster, but there may be a bit of science fiction involved. This system can be used to gather natural sunlight into the home. I installed a module on the roof that collects light. The light is then conveyed via fiber optic cables and optical fibers into the room and can be easily and flexibly positioned like a power cord. It can then supply real natural sunlight to a room that maybe has no window. Using this system removes the need for artificial light and helps save energy. This means one can enjoy real sunlight in windowless rooms, creating a more comfortable atmosphere.
So this is our future, is light, and how to use light, and how to use the sunlight, like solar and other things, But this particular thing is going to affect us because we're not going to use electricity to have light, We'll have light throughout the day. We'll sleep with the circadian because we're healthy, So we're all in bed by 10, lights go out at 8:30, It's 2 hours of sitting in the dark. It's time to go to bed. It's a natural rundown. It's a natural process for our life. And if you have the light moving with you, then your circadian process works naturally. And your sleep order, disorder, not only that, but so many things start coming into play. So we have a future that is a different future than what we think. And this is just a small little taste of the fact that we're going to be having more light, better light. Right now, we turn on electric lights, and we are being harmed. The EMF, the process of the type of light, the spectrum of that light, not good for us. And we didn't know this, we were all in school with asbestos falling into our, as we breathe. Remember all that in lovely America? All the ceilings, little dust that comes down is all asbestos, and all the lights in the ceiling, just the worst possible lights you could ever have in the world, just flickering constantly, giving us all kinds of problems. And we have no idea that much of our minor chakras are developed under the essence of light. Even if you want to get the full spectrum, you need white light, pure white light. So if you get the sun and you're only given the sun, then you get a full spectrum of light. There's nothing negative in that relationship, and you could switch that over. You could put a yellow lens, you could put different blue lens, you can cut that spectrum and get specific color spectrums off of the same thing. But you can't do this using electronic lights. It's sunlight that you'll bring this through. So there's all kinds of new mediums that we're going to learn to bring into our lifestyle that creates light. So then there's this. You saw Trump the Antichrist. That was always good. Okay, that's enough. The main thing is that we need to mostly understand the reality that humanity is being awakened in the teachings that I've been giving, the seventh ray to the third ray, the solar plex to the heart. Getting these chakras to go in the right order happens by me instilling my ray package into the world. It is the rarest of all ray packages. There's nothing like it. I have mainly twos, and hardly anybody's got twos, but I've got them everywhere. My personality is a 3. That's it. And everything else is pretty much twos. So I manifest what I do through meditation. Through simpleness. Through not overactivity, not over this or over that, but basically just synthesizing it down to the central spiral effect of whatever it is that's going on, and then bring it to order, bring it to a harmonic order. That's the energy of a second ray and a third ray. It's a very, very rare experience. It's the ray of the Christ or Buddha. It's the ray of enlightenment and wisdom. But it's what I'm made of. So as that expression continues, as I live, as I do what I do, I impress that into this monastery. And that affects the whole entire world. Because all my words and all my actions are made manifest in magnification of 1,000,000 times. The radionics, the radiesthesia, the energetic principles behind what I do is applied in this science that I do. And it it is only to express, to give forth my merit into humanity. Yeah. And my past lives are beyond good. Beyond good. Yeah. And that is what comes back to me. Yeah. That's why Tibetans go to look for me and see me in dreams and stuff, because of my actions that I will do in that life. Is the same as what I've done in other lives. You know, so there's nothing like it. It's the easiest person to find is the Lord. Yeah. And, you know, so that's, I believe that that's the outcome of humanity, that humanity is on a path, and the path leads them to the Lord, you know, and it leads them to Bodhisattva, to Bodhisattva, to Buddha, you know, and they just reap the influence of my wisdom. And it's all about wisdom. Everything is about wisdom. Second ray, third ray. Second ray is loving wisdom, yeah, and the third ray is the wisdom. Yeah, so to have both those things going on is a very powerful transmission to humanity, because humanity is made up of these two rays. Yeah, the best of humanity, the very, very, very best of humanity, are people that like to communicate and share and care and give and, you know, heal and, you know, make change in the world and all that. Those are the new group of world servers. Those are all the people that are of this new age, that are going to awaken and become the spiritual way showers on the planet. And it's because they're being overshadowed by the second ray and the third ray, despite the rays you got, you know, being blessed by the hierarchy that comes in with the second ray and third ray. Then there's my monad, which is first ray, and then nobody wants to deal with that. You know, that's straight out just exactly what it is. So all the teachings that I give are straight from God. You know, my monad is my expression of my soul. Yeah. So everything in that process comes directly into the manifestation of elements, the very smallest of all elements, the very smallest, atoms, geometry, light. You know, all of that is affected, you know, by what I do. Yeah. So everything that we're going to change through comes through Buddhism, the practice of Buddhism. Buddhism is a ceremonial magic, knowing that we reincarnate. You got to take that in a real honest reality, that in order to practice ceremonial magic, you have to accept reincarnation, because that's your ceremony. Does that make sense? It's really important you get that, you know, because all the rest of the teachings that I give will only kind of make it. But without you gathering yourself to the real reality that you are in a ceremony of magic, it's not under your control. Yeah? That it's a ceremony of magic, and everything you're going to experience in this world is provided in that ceremony of magic. That we're not in, a mundane, who knows what's going to happen kind of thing. It's not that way at all. God knows what's going to happen. Yeah? And it's working out of a plan. And there's magic behind it. Yeah? All right. So let's do some praying. Okay, just repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ, to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
That body is alive. I know its life.
Can you take a deep
I
breath?
therefore know my mother. I use a body. That body is not me. I serve the group, and in this serving live within the body, detached, a son of God. I know myself. I infuse a body. I am its life, and in that life shall I see life. That life is known as love. I am the love of God. I know the Father, and I know His life is love. I am the body and its loving life. I am the self, whose quality is love. I am the life of God Himself. The Mother, Father, Son, am I. Behind these three stands the unknown God. That God am I. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of mankind. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of mankind. May Christ return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men and women, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, we call the race of mankind. Let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. I call upon the Most High God to let the disciple know the nature of his Lord of love. Seven, the aspects of love of God. Seven, the colors of the manifesting one. Sevenfold, the work. Seven, the energies. And sevenfold, the path back to the center of peace. Let the disciple live in love and love in life. The soul is an embodiment of consciousness of mind, the expression of divine intelligent awareness. The soul is a unity of energy, vibrating in unison with one of the seven ray lives, and colored by a particular ray of light. The personality of the soul is the embodiment of love, applied intelligently producing an attractive form, which will serve to express that loving intelligence. The soul is intended to be the embodiment of divine purpose, applied in great active creativity, which produces the power of creative love. We are born of the love of Father for the Mother, of the desire of life for form. Express the love, the magnetic attractiveness of God's nature, and the responsiveness of form nature, and the I am consciousness itself, of the awareness of deity in life. Okay, just relax. Okay, open your eyes. Okay, well, everybody's so quiet. Nice. So the process of my teaching is my expression. That's basically what it is. Yeah. The difficulty is the fact that I'm also an engineer and a scientist and all these different things that are the new group of world servers. So my teaching includes little hints on each one of these areas, whether it be medicine or engineering, science, the history of the planet, archaeology, anthropology, any economy, everything, governing, all of that I teach, all those realms. I teach all those things because they represent each one of the 7 rays. And they help to facilitate the awakening and direction for our soul, for our personality to integrate with our soul. So I poo-poo, this and that, because those are not things that facilitate our soul. They're things that will die in our rebirth, and they won't come back with us in our next life. So you'd be better off if that got cleaned up now and you could enjoy your life more. You'd have fewer body aches, fewer headaches, fewer emotional traumas, fewer personal problems, all kinds of things. It makes you enjoy your life a whole lot more. So that's my main goal, is to clean things up so that you can appreciate the circumstances that are healed in the world, that we have all these things that we're getting, but we're getting them from avenues of darkness.
And we have no idea that whether it be Elon Musk or Bezos or whoever, they're coming from avenues of darkness. They're not enlightened beings that are coming here to save the world. They're people who are reincarnated in avenues of darkness, but they're being directed by me. Every step of the way that Elon Musk was moved through, I did that. I directed his attention toward creating PayPal. I directed his attention toward space. I directed his attention toward the electric cars, because every one of them, they would destroy the earth if they weren't for me. Their direction of greed and other powers, if there was no PayPal, there was no direction, there was no plan for them to be facilitated in their delusionary ego, thinking that this is me, I'm doing all this, I'm SpaceX, because they're just so egotistical. They need to have that as their reality. But in reality, it's not the reality. So all that will get cleaned up and everything will be left behind. The outcome of the things that I'm asking them to do. And I'm making possible for it to happen. Whether going into space, well, the rockets need to land and do all the right things, and we can't do it the way we did it before. And we need to be able to bring people back, safely without landing in the ocean or something. Maybe just a quick landing, subtle, easy, get out, walk away, no problem. All these things, in my mind, need to be taken care of. And in these projects of these people, whether it be Elon Musk or Bezos, they're both formulating things that are in my mind that need to get taken care of. New technologies are advanced through space exploration. Not by a lot that we do here through warfare and other forms. But if we advance through space exploration, then we get all kinds of computer and other technologies in flight, ways to do the things we need to do, transportation, communication, all those things that are what we do. These people I pushed into that area so that we could better save humanity, but their craziness, both of them want to go to Mars. Both of them have got this delusion of grandeur that is far outweighs anything that you can possibly imagine. But it's not going to happen. It's going to happen my way, exactly my way, and I will explain it as I live. I will sit here and explain what it's like to be the Lord of the world and how the world is being moved and changed, even through lunar lords, even through Trump, by getting him busted as one of the evilest people, even through Putin, by getting him busted as one of the evilest people. Even in England, by getting the King of England to reconsider democracy. He is, right now, the King of England today is going, I think we might want to consider democracy here. And England's like, what? That's coming from the king? Wait a minute, you're saying you're going to get rid of the throne? Not necessarily, but I'm saying I'd like to establish democracy. People having a better democracy. Not sure how that's going to happen, but as I'm king, I'd like to speak the words that Christ is talking, and facilitate this process. So you can hear these things coming from people who in their previous lives used to be big lunar lords, but I've cleaned them up. It doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter whether they're Trump or what. Walt Disney, I mean, that man was the biggest egotistical piece of shit you'd ever want to meet. But everybody thinks, well, he's got to be a great guy. But he wasn't a great guy. And you don't know these things, and that's my job. I clean this whole thing up through wisdom. I watch over everything. You have no idea such an existence takes place. So that's how we do this thing, is through the Lord and the teachings of wisdom that come with it. That gives us revelation. Because I can show you how we're working out a plan, that there is a plan. Up to this point, the whole thing is that, is there a God, and is there a plan, and what is my part to play in it? That is your question. Well, my thing is I'm here to answer that question. There is a plan, there is a God, and you do have a part to play in it. All right. Enjoy. Thank you.